with Antoine.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me.
We just went on a 35-minute tempo run and got a coffee at La Maison to go. I got a coconut water. Antoine got a flat white with oat milk. And yeah, we just decided to come and sit out by the canal because the weather is so nice today. And yeah, share some stories from the Berlin Canal. I met Antoine last year at the Berlin Marathon. We were cheering, and Antoine is a friend of one of my really good friends, Leah. And Leah and I had signed up for the Malaga Marathon. And we managed to convince Antoine to sign up for his first half marathon, and then he ran his first half marathon last year.
At first it was a joke, like really for fun, but then I was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. And so I did. And it was amazing decision.
So last week we met up for coffee, and I was just really inspired to hear how his running journey has, shaped his lifestyle in a way, and like how you're also thinking about moving forward in your life. And I wanted to invite him on to share his running story.
With a pleasure.
Yeah, maybe you can introduce yourself and tell us about you.
So as you've heard, my name is Antoine, coming from France, Marseille exactly, south of France. 31 years old. I arrived in Berlin like 4 years ago. This lovely place, lovely people. That was 1 week before COVID. Kind of lost my healthy lifestyle because of COVID and because of Berlin and because of me. I'm the first one to blame. And so then, I was running younger, doing a lot of sports. I stopped for a while, and now it feels very good for a few months that I started again to run for real, to feel that I'm able to do it. Yeah.
You were telling me that you were coming to Berlin quite a lot, like for parties, and then you ended up just moving here.
Yeah, like what I like to say is I had to move in Berlin, to live in Berlin, to have enough of it, to be done with, because basically I was coming like every 2 months, every 3 months, had more friends in Berlin than anywhere else. I mean, in one same place, let's say. So I was like, okay, to move on with my life, I need to move in Berlin, not to grow in Berlin, but to be done with. And kind of this point was reached quite quick. I'm still here though.
Yeah.
It's nice just to learn to meet different people from nightlife and party and things like that.
Yeah.
It's a long path, and true, it's a long path here. You need to change a lot of things. Running helped me to do that. You have a reason to wake up in the morning on the weekend and to meet people that do the same thing as you.
Yeah.
It's a club still, so yeah, so it feels nice.
That's true. And if I remember at the Berlin half marathon, when we were talking, you were also like at this point where you were quite tired of this lifestyle and like wanting to do something different.
Yeah.
And I think that's also when like Leah and I were trying to convince you, like, yeah, you should join us, and you can start training, and maybe this will also help you change the direction of like how you want to live.
This was a good timing because Berlin half marathon was beginning of September, I think, if I remember well.
Berlin marathon.
Marathon.
Yeah, it was September. It was September.
Beginning of
and then we said like that's more than enough time.
And it was a good timing because like in the middle of summer already I've stopped to go to party and things like that. I just stayed at home, which is like weird for summer in Berlin. And then I took like a break from friends and things like that, focusing on work. And then just before the day of the marathon, it was not planned that I would come to cheer up. To cheer, sorry.
Cheer up.
For a French guy, I speak English quite okay, I think.
You do.
And so then, 2 days before the Berlin Marathon, I decided to say yes to go out again to catch up with some friends. And then I just ended in a mess again. And I was like, fuck, there is a problem. There is a real problem. I should really take care of it. Trying to escape of something I don't know, like from something I don't know. But I really feel like, there is an issue. 2 days after Leah proposed me to come to the marathon to just cheer, just like that, She said, maybe we don't like it, it will be boring, but she just proposed me. I said, you know what, I'm gonna come because I'm actually a morning person more than a night person. It's just that in the morning there is not many people to catch up with.
In Berlin. No.
in Berlin.
Yeah.
Or you catch up with them, but for them it is still the evening for them. So I've been there and I felt quite good. I felt very good, and Leah was checking on me if I was okay and not feeling bored, that if it was not boring for me. And I was like, no, actually I feel good. And I remember why, because my dad was doing a lot of marathon
Oh.
when I was a
didn't know
kid.
that.
When I was a kid, yeah. And my mom got used to bring me on the races and to cheer and things like that.
Yeah.
Especially in France, like you have like many different one with different themes, such like food or wine. And actually, I still have like the T-shirt of my dad, le Marathon du Médoc, which is a marathon
You do?
where you drink every I don't know how many kilometers. But to me, when I was a kid, it was not a thing, you know.
Yeah.
Then I was running as a teenager, but with my best friend in the hill of Marseille. We were actually doing quite big distances, but we were not looking at any watch, or we didn't have fun. We were actually speaking all along, like talking all along, till we reached a quite good level. That's why, like when I was 17, I made my first test to become a fireman, and it was very easy because with my best friend we were doing boxing, free diving, so like in the water, dynamic diving. I don't know if you can call it like this, and running. So we had quite a good level. But then, yeah, slowly I stopped, turned randomly to gym. More convenient because you go to one place, you train the part of your body you want to train, and yeah, then you just want to look hot and you forgot actually the performance or like the fulfillment of doing endurance sports. So at this point it's been a while that I was not running, and I felt very good looking at people running and cheering the energy.
At the Berlin?
Yeah,
half?
I've been
Berlin Marathon.
Berlin Marathon, yeah. Coming back to it, sorry, I took a long way. I felt very good and very happy, and you know, it's just...
What made you feel good?
Yeah,
Happy?
that's the thing. You just look at people running, and why?
But I
was
get
like,
it though.
I was like, why am I feeling so good
Yeah.
while it's normally so boring? And I just realized that it reminded me of a time of my life, innocence, and everything was fine. Let's say it's still fine though, but you know, when you're a kid, nothing bad to think about. And so then Leah, as a joke, turned to me and say, come to Malaga, do the half with us while we do the full marathon. And I was like, yeah, sure. But then she looked again at the race, at the marathon, and I was in the back. And like in movie, you know, everything became silent because I was in my mind. And I just had like, I imagine like the camera coming on my face, be like, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. So I took a few weeks thinking of what equipment I would need, and most important was a good pair of shoes. Because every time during those last years I tried to run again, I've gained quite a lot of weight during COVID. And every time I was trying to run with nice looking running shoes, that I just chose myself for the look, not really for the feeling. It didn't feel right, so I went to a specialized shop. I don't know if I can mention it though.
Yeah, mention it.
Long distance running.
If you're in Berlin and you need shoes, maybe that's where you need to go.
A long distance running
Yeah.
shop. I arrived there. The guy was barefoot,
He was.
hand in pockets, short in winter. I mean, winter, it was like end of autumn. And I was like, oh, I think this is the guy. He took like a few measures of my legs, my knees, my size and everything. Found out that actually I needed 2 more size in terms of size of shoes for running.
To go up.
Yeah.
But that's quite common actually, you know.
And I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was still stuck at, French size 42 and a half, while I'm actually at 43 and a half or 40,
44, yeah.
44. And the shoes were actually, I explain details because to me it's really fun. The shoes were actually very ugly, and I was like, I wanted some cool shoes to run, you know. I want to run fast in my mind. If you have nice gears, you run better, which is not true. But I was like, yeah, So he proposed me a pair of shoes. I tried them. I felt a changement. Like it was so good. I was like, yeah, but do you have any other colors? No. Okay, can we try this or this? Because I saw those online. I tried them. It was not giving the same feeling. And so the guy was so good that I was like, you know what? It's not the color I want. It's the full price. I know online I can have it cheaper, but you know what? I will pay the full price right now because this advice was so good. Actually, I should go back to this shop because when I told him I will do a half marathon, and he asked me, what is the maximum you can run? And I didn't know, so I said 45 minutes, and he was like, but actually I did well. So I started to run again after I got those shoes. The first run was like such a pain, it was so painful, but the most important is the day after. And the day after, I made a recovery run of 2 kilometers. I was so slow. I was
Yeah,
such
but
in
also
pain.
you missed out the point that your first run, you ran 9 kilometers.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Like for your first run,
Thanks.
that's crazy. So of course, yeah, like the next day you would feel.
I was so dead. I mean, like 9K and 520 meters in 52 minutes, something like that. And so at this time, I didn't know what good pace or not was or where to place myself. I just know that my heart rate beat was like very, very high. And I was dead, like such in pain. And the day after, what I did, was making a recovery run, 2K. And this was when the machine was on. I'm not saying me, the machine, not the machine, but when my legs again were on and the training started for real, the training process started for real. And I think that was the best advice I could give to myself, or if anyone asked me for an advice, you didn't, but it's like the day after, when you start running, what is important is the day after, or the 2 days after, what you do after is like the most important. That's when, like, yes or not, you will continue your training or you will stop because it's too painful.
But to keep going.
Yeah,
The important thing is keep going.
To just keep going,
Keep
but at
pushing
first,
through.
like when you start, like even like keep going, like such in short time, and to trust in your legs.
Yeah.
Trust in your legs. Yeah, because I was so scared that I'm gonna have like in French it's like a claquage. So like when your muscle is just like.
Yeah. And how was your first half marathon experience?
So first it was with you and Leah, and thanks for that. It was really comforting. It was amazing. It was amazing because it was 10th of December or 7th of December?
10th of December.
No, 10th of December. In Malaga, so it was 24 degrees. While the few last weeks of training were here in Berlin, it was freezing, like literally.
Yeah, and grey.
It was like minus
Yeah.
5 maybe, minus 10 at some point. It was very cold. And so I was a bit scared because when I was running first, I was slow, of course, but my heartbeat was like very high in the cold, and I was like, fuck, am I losing of performance? And so so like in Malaga, we made like the shakeout running before.
We missed it.
Yeah, we missed it, but we made our own one.
Yeah. That whole trip was so funny though, because we ended up booking an Airbnb like
I made a mistake.
way out of the city.
I made a mistake.
But it was still super nice because it was really close to the beach, it was quiet, and we made it to the race, and yeah, it was fun.
I'm lucky because when I booked it and I found out that it was far from the city, I felt very guilty and bad and responsible. And Juju and Leah were so nice, and they found the positivity in it, which was we are still close to the sea. And you know what? It's good that we are not in the craziness vibe of the craziness of the city, because we will be tempted to go out. So we were far, but it was easy to go in the city. And every morning you were going to look at the sun rays. And so then the race by itself was amazing, because my expectations was to make it in 2 hours 15 minutes. So when I clicked this on the website, I didn't know actually what result I would make. So I started actually quite late, but while I was running, what was good for my mental was I was overtaking people without forcing it. So really feel like you're flying.
Yeah.
You just take off everyone. And then the landscape, of course, of
also
Malaga,
very beautiful.
so nice.
Yeah.
Hard moment is at the end when there is a bit like up,
A little bit of an uphill, yeah,
of
for
an
sure.
uphill.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a bit long. You still have a nice landscape on the side, but what I hate in races in general is like when like one straight line go back, and it's very long,
Yeah.
and you start to see the first runners coming back, and you're like, oh, I guess this is not far. I will come back soon. No, it's very, very long. They're just very, very fast.
Yeah.
And this for the mental, I don't like it much. Yeah, I started to struggle from 18K, and I was lucky because yeah, there were 3K left.
I think it's always 18. Like
Yeah?
I always hear that. I
Yeah?
also remember on my first half, like 18, like it felt like death.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
at this half in Berlin, everyone said 14.
Oh, really?
You
but
too?
No, but Berlin half this one was different because there was no water, and it was so hot that day. I think a lot of people were just struggling because everyone was so dehydrated.
I mean, me, I felt so good with this weather, but I got
I
used
mean, me
to.
too. I also liked it, but like there definitely could have been more water stations.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, we have to stay on
definitely.
topic.
Sorry, yeah. And
So
the
tell-
race Malaga. Yeah.
Yeah. How did it feel like when you crossed that line? Like, did you cry?
Almost, but I didn't. Actually, I cried earlier from 19K because my tips was to turn video games playlist music, video games that I got used to play when I was a kid. And the thing is, when you're a kid, you feel everything is so strong that it was a trick for me, and it was like basically, yeah, doping myself with music. And so at some point it got so intense. I was just thinking about my dad. I intimated a detail. My dad is not with us anymore for 12 years now. And you know, all this mix of like emotional music and thinking about your dad and all those things that help you. And to be happy about myself, because a few months before that moment I felt kind of wasted here. And I was like, wow, you can do it and you're fast. And you enjoy it. Look, I have goosebumps speaking about it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera.
I know, seriously. Oh my god.
Because I put myself back in it, and I know exactly where I was in Malaga. I wouldn't know the name of the street, but I have the landscape exactly when this happened. And so that's when I cried. And then once I cry and I have goosebumps, nothing stopped me.
Nice.
And then that's when I crossed the line, actually, that my legs started to break maybe 50 meters before the line. And I was like, wow, well done in terms of energy and timing, because I've never been so far, so close, and in terms of management of energy / time and stuff, and speed. So I was really proud of myself. Didn't cry. I was a bit sad that, yeah, there is no many people as we can know in Berlin. So you girls were still running. Cannot be mad at you. You had a good excuse. They were doing full marathon, you know. So I was like finishing, looking around. I was like, yeah, I don't know anyone. So I asked to one man to take a picture of me. I can send you, but then the picture looks so shit. I didn't publish it.
No. You saw me in the last, like, I think three kilometers before I crossed the line. Antoine was in the cheering zone, and he saw me, and so he ran with me for the last 3 kilometers, and he was filming me.
It was so nice.
It was so nice.
I have goosebumps
really,
again.
like,
I have goosebumps again. I will be exhausted after today.
It was so nice. And then I crossed, and I, like, oh my God, I broke down. I was like,
that was a strong moment, yeah. I mean, actually, I think about this, and
yeah. But actually, and then I got these professional photos from the Malaga Marathon organization, and I have these pictures of Antoine, and he's like with my phone, like screaming, but it literally looks like a stalker.
I mean, I'm smiling like, and I'm so happy.
So
and the
funny.
photographer actually put me in the middle of the frame. So it was even more creepy, because I was like with the camera, with the phone like that, so like, and with
Wow, but you captured such a special moment for me, really.
At some point when you broke down on the finish line, on the finishing line, I was like, okay, I'm taking from below, and she's crying. I was like this, and I was like, when should I stop, or should I? Is it like maybe indecent to continue now?
Yeah.
Like
But I
the,
also get emotional now, like thinking
yeah,
about
no,
it. That
same,
was
same. I
such
mean,
a,
now I'm laughing again, so it's gone. But I just thought about it
yeah,
because I
it
didn't know
was,
you much. We met at the marathon. We met one time after, I think, but
yeah,
then we never spoke so much. And
no,
then I was
no,
like, wow, actually, I'm participating and filming such a strong and important moment for a person that I got to know in the time lapse of a one weekend. Yeah, and it was strong.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It was really, really cool. And
yeah.
so, of course, like in Malaga, I felt amazing. And doing the half marathon in Berlin a few weeks ago, the landscape is not the same, man.
No, I know it's
Every corner I
different.
was like, oh.
But the energy is different.
The,
You
the, the,
cannot compare like
no, of course,
the
the
energy
energy
of
is
Berlin.
way different.
It's different.
Like
It's
people are
different.
cheering and stuff in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
street. I was even feeling guilty to have my earphones on because
Oh, you ran with your earphones?
it helped me to pace and to
Okay, yeah.
yeah, or to give me energy when I'm like
Yeah.
down. But it is true that next time I will do it without because I was actually at some point I removed them or I put the sound more lower
Yeah.
to be able to hear people cheering. And yeah, it's not the same energy. Just at the end of the race, I was so blasted. I was so dead that
Yeah.
I was not able to look at my phone or to try to join the club I'm a part of, the Fresh Pattern. And so once I was actually ready to join them, everyone was gone. So yeah, it's not the same vibe, but I was so out of energy after that.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to catch up the vibe after. But yeah, very different.
I mean, you're still running a lot. I think you run every day.
I run even more now.
Yeah, and
Like since the race, the half marathon, I was like, oh, you know what? Let's just keep that pace.
then when we spoke last week, you also shared about like some life changes that you're going through and changes that you want to make.
Yeah.
And to me, it really sounded like running helped you with these decisions.
Yeah, it's like meditations and like sometimes you don't feel good or your thought or ideas are just biased by your emotions, hard feeling. I think running can be like taking a nap. It just treats everything flat.
Yeah.
Then you can think clear again. What running helped me in a way trusting in myself and also having a reason to wake up in the morning and so to sleep early at night. Some other parts which are a bit, I don't know if I can mention it here, but I could think like can be tricky is when you run, even if you struggle for some reason and you show that you run, your friends think you're fine, but so they feel less responsible for you. Oh, he's fine, he's running. But lately I just realized that I run a lot every day, and maybe it's because I it was just a way for me to fulfill myself, but not thinking about my responsibility or things I have to do. For example, I consider to move out of Berlin now. I have a project next, and I started yesterday to really start the process to give back my flat, and it became real. And I'm like, oh. And yesterday I was like stressed all day, and it was a day that I was forced to not run, and I was going nuts. I was going nuts. While lately, I like before the race, I was used to make like 30K a week, which is not a lot, and now I
That's
do
still a
like
lot.
average like 44K,
Yeah.
maybe more this week. I already made quite a lot this week. So running helped me to trust more in myself, but on the other side, running is a bit like of turning your brain off, and it was something I got used to do in party, and now I found a healthy way to
A
do it.
healthier way, yeah.
But as everything, like it's important also to find the balance and
Definitely.
why you're running, because it can be like, of course, there is many good reasons to run,
Yeah, yeah.
and sometimes there is some others like you should look more like into yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing now.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
if,
it's
if,
cool.
if, if that's the answer you expected, but it's just like since the last week, I had time to think even more. It was
Yeah.
not planned. It was not because of our interview today. it's just like some thought that crossed my mind, and I was like, okay, there is things that I need to check on myself.
Yeah, it's a great tool for like self-reflection as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and since forever, since I
Yeah.
started,
Yeah.
and I'm glad I can do it again. That was
Yeah.
that was the most satisfying feeling to see that even after I've gained a lot of weight after COVID, not good lifestyle, age,
Also age.
you
Yeah.
can still do it, and
That's true.
and you can do it on a very good level.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
If you were to give advice to somebody who's feeling lost and not knowing what they should do, what's something that you would say?
I mean, at first, like, if you feel wasted and and you are curious or think about running, don't hesitate to ask for advice. Go on internet, look at yourself, be honest with yourself. So sometimes you want to look at the best runners in town.
How do you know if you're being honest with yourself?
Because I went to this shop, long distance running, and I say, hey, what shoes do you recommend for an overweight person wanting to do half marathon in 2 months? And I know that a few years ago, I would never have the courage to go to a shop and say, hey, I'm overweight. Do you, what advice do you have to recommend me? The decision ever, because those shoes helped me to not feel any pain in my legs and to start to run again and to lose this weight and to feel good with me now. So I think running is a good way to put yourself back on track for anything in life, because mentally you prove something to yourself, and the training can start in front of your building, in front of your door. You can start training, and you can finish your training once you are back in front of your building, of your door, of your house.
Thank you.
Thanks to you, Juju.
Thank you for sharing. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for the free coffee.
Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. Remember to be kind to yourself in your journey, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.